So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a decrease in your crochet stitches. So what we're doing, the aim of a decrease is to take two of our existing stitches and make them into one. So the impact that will have on our finished work is it will start to come inwards like this. So if you're increasing the number of stitches, you would be going outwards, but if you're decreasing, you would be coming inwards. So you're changing the shape of the piece that you're making by making a decrease. So what you want to be doing is to making two stitches into one, like I said. That might be written in a pattern as decrease, so DEC with the abbreviation, or it might be written as single crochet two together. So here I have 4 rows of single crochet. I'm going to show you how to make a single crochet decrease. So this is a regular decrease. There is another way called an invisible decrease, which is often used in amigurumi in toy making. I will show you how to do that as well, so keep watching, skip to that part if that's the part that you're interested in. So there's my one single crochet, my one chain to get up to the right height before I start my row. I'm just going to do one single crochet in that first stitch, so that's not a decrease, that's just a normal stitch, just so that you can see it a little bit easier when I do my decrease. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hook into that first stitch, so that's my first stitch that I'm going to decrease. I'm going to yarn over and bring my yarn through. So now I've got 2 loops on my hook. And what I'm going to do, instead of finishing the single crochet, which would be to yarn over and then pull through those 2 loops, I'm going to put my hook straight into the next stitch. So I'm going to put my hook in there and bring another loop through. So yarn over and bring that loop through. And now I've got 3 on my hook. And to make my decrease, so you can see that those are my 2 stitches there that I'm trying to bring together. So I'm going to yarn over my hook and then bring it through all 3. And then I have done a decrease. I've got 1 stitch, so that's my 1 stitch, where before I had 2. So let's have a look at that again. So put my hook into the stitch where I want to decrease, the first part of the stitch, yarn over and bring it through. And then my hook into the next stitch, yarn over and bring that through, so that I've got 3 on my hook. And then finally yarn over and bring through all 3. So there I've got my second stitch. So let's carry on and do some more decreases all the way to the end, and then we'll see what it does to the shape of our crochet. Okay, so I've got 1 extra stitch because I used up a stitch at the beginning, but never mind. So we'll just do 1 single crochet in that last stitch because I haven't got another stitch to do it together with. So now you'll see that my crochet has changed shape. So it started to come inwards like a triangle. So this bit here was 10 stitches, and now I think I've got more than 5 because I didn't decrease in the beginning and the end. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I've got 6 stitches. I started with 10, and you can see that that's changed the shape of my work. So how does that look then if we're doing double crochet stitches? Because it is slightly different. So what you want to be doing with the double crochet is you're starting out in the same way, but what you want to do is you want to finish your stitches up until the last yarn over. So if I just do my first stitch as a regular double crochet, so I had my chain there already, and that's my double crochet. So let's say I'm double crocheting these 2 stitches together, so I'm making 1 stitch out of these 2. So what I'm going to do is yarn over, so start my first double crochet, so into here, bring my yarn through, and then bring my yarn through and through 2. So that's half a double crochet. I haven't quite finished. If I was going to do the rest of my double crochet, what I would do now is yarn over and bring it through those 2 loops, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go straight into the next stitch and make another half of a double crochet into that stitch. So yarn over into that next stitch and bring my yarn through, yarn over and through 2, and now I've got 3 loops on my hook. So I've got this bit, which was my first stitch, so almost a double crochet but without the last yarn over, and the same here in my next stitch, almost a double crochet but not the last yarn over. And then I'm going to yarn over finally and bring it through all of those 3 loops. And that's my double crochet decrease. So 2 stitches into 1 with a double crochet. So let's do that again and see how that looks. So do your double crochet up until the point where you do the last yarn over. So yarn over into your stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over and through 2, and then into the next stitch. So yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over and bring it through, yarn over through 2. So then I've got the 2 bits of my double crochet into those 2 stitches. So yarn over and through all 3 loops. And that's my double crochet 2 together or my double crochet decrease. It's the same thing. So you might see it written as double crochet 2 together in a pattern, or it might be written as a double crochet decrease. And that's all there is to it. So because this yarn is very chunky, it looks very gappy, but that's really just so that I can show you very clearly where your hook goes and into which loop and stuff like this. So I was going to show you also the invisible decrease. Now this is important if you're making amigurumi. So if you're making toys, you're going to want to learn how to do the invisible decrease, and this is why. So this on the right here is my regular decrease, and what you can see is that because when we do the final yarn over we go through 3 loops, you will see that there are little bars, and you can see them if you look closely here. So if you go around here, I've got my decreases stacked up on top of each other, and you can really see them. And also they are slightly more gappy. So you can see in my little ball that I made here that the gaps are a little bit more visible than you would perhaps like. So this one here is using the invisible decrease method. And here, although if you look very carefully, you can see the decreases, so they are here. But you don't have that bar across, so it's much less visible. So just to show you again, so on the right again, I have the regular decrease where you see the bars and slightly gappy. And here you've got the invisible decreases so that you can see them much less. So how does that work? So here I've got my little half of a ball, so up to the point where I needed to start decreasing. So let me just get my loop back on my hook. Okay, so this is my last round so normally when we're making an amigurumi ball like this, we increase up to a certain point and then we do regular rounds, so without increasing or decreasing. So now this is my first row of decreases. So what I would do normally is I would just do a few stitches. So I'm going to do 3 stitches and then I'm going to do my invisible decrease. So that's 3 normal stitches. And now I'm going to do my invisible decrease. So I'm going to decrease, I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer so you can see. So I'm going to decrease these 2 stitches into 1. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hook under that first front loop of that first stitch, only the front loop. And then I'm directly going to put my hook under the front loop of the next stitch. So now I've got these 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and bring my yarn through those 2 loops. Okay, and then I'm going to complete my single crochet stitch by yarning over and bringing through 2. And that is my invisible decrease. So I'm just going to do 3 more single crochets and then I will show you again. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm ready for my next decrease. Whoops, that's the end. That started out. Okay, so under the front loop of my first stitch, so only the front loop, and then directly under the front loop of my next stitch, yarn over and bring it through those 2 loops, then yarn over and bring it through again. And that is my invisible decrease. And what you can see is that it's much less visible than the regular decrease where you just yarn over and bring it through each stitch. However, what you should know is that because you only picked up the front loop of those 2 stitches, on the back, it's quite difficult to see because this yarn is a bit fuzzy, but on the back you will see a bar across where you didn't pick up the loops at the back. So the invisible decrease is great if you are making something where the back side doesn't show. But if you are making something where both sides of your work are going to be visible, then perhaps the invisible decrease is not the right way to go. So perhaps the regular decrease is how you should do it. But certainly in toy making, or where you're making 3D objects, the invisible decrease looks better on your finished work, I think. So that's the invisible decrease. So that's all the different types of decreases: regular single crochet decrease, double crochet decrease, invisible decrease. If you were decreasing with different types of stitch, you would follow the same process as I showed you for the double crochet. So you make your stitch until the last yarn over, and then go into the next stitch, make the next stitch until the last yarn over, and then you should end up with 3 loops on your hook and yarn over and bring through all 3. And that's how to do decreases.